Shalom. Praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Harakakadash. Double on the sea apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Shalom to the brothers doing the work of sincerity and truth. It's got a little lesson put together basically on how, for everyone in this faith, but also just in general, has, their role, their position is essentially been set up in the spirit. And now we're in a time where it's all been being played out. And that's something that a lot of, like, in a carnal sense, within Esau society, they've made the whole, concept that things are kind of molded around of, so-called free will. But then when you deal with the with the truth, it's not something that's we do with the truth. It's not something that's really exists. This whole free will, because we perceive it as such, but where we're basically working on instructions we have spirit put on us for how we're going to conduct ourselves, and that's why we're fulfilling what Yahweh Hashem Yahushua basically desires. That's why you have people playing their roles. You have the righteous, the wicked, the spectators. You have those that are gonna, ones that are gonna betray, ones that are gonna endure, ones that are basically they're gonna fulfill, all the roles that have been set. It's all gonna play out smoothly, and that's that's what we're in the midst of. It's it's a very entertaining and unique display. It's just like you'll have you have a TV show, and then there'll be the TV show will have some some form or aspect of it. You have a TV show, you have some form of that's well, you have a script. You have a script, and that's really what's they're gonna be sticking to, and then that'll more or less let you know what's gonna go down. That's what we're in the midst of now. I read this Jeremiah 1:4. It says, "Then the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly I knew thee, and before thou camest forth of the womb I sanctified thee, and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." So yeah, for those those prophets, those that have been chosen before you're even born, you're known. You basically, when you're back in the spirit world, then you're known that you're a spirit of a certain stock. And that's why it's like when you come down, it's not just chance. It's who's coming down, what role they're fulfilling. These these things are it's not a pure chance, because you have reincarnation, you have people coming back in their stead. So it says, "And before thou camest forth from the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Then said I, well, actually, no, that was what I wanted from that. Good example of that is Gideon, because it was during when the Midianites were putting hell on Jake. Well, during time of Judges, just in general, the Lord basically had it where there was, a heathen nation would come up. Well, first of all, Jake would go off. Jake, that we keep him whilst a judge was instated. So originally it was like Joshua, but then afterwards it was like as the process and the judges goes through, it will be like a judge is raised up, and they basically liberate Israel from whoever's having power over them. Then afterwards, what they'll rule over Israel for that time, and after they pass, Israel get back up to the old tricks of going the hell off. And then, as they engage in, well, then the heathen again will take them over. Then they'll judge it will have to be raised up. So this, Gideon, it was the Midianites. And I read this, Judges 6:11, and it says, and there came an angel of the Lord Jehovah and sat under an oak which was in Ophrah, that pertained unto Joash the Abiezrite, and his son Gideon fresh wheat by the winepress to hide it from the Midianites. And the angel of the Lord Jehovah appeared unto him and said unto him, the Lord Jehovah is with thee, thou mighty man of valor. And Gideon said unto him, O my Lord, if the Lord Jehovah be with us, why then is all this befallen us? And where be all these miracles which our fathers told us of, saying, did not the Lord Jehovah bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord Jehovah forsaken us and delivered us into the hand of the Midianites. He is basically, inquiring of why they're getting jacked up. But then what does it say? It says, and the Lord Jehovah looked upon him and said, go in this thy might, and thou shalt save Israel from the hand of the Midianites. Have not I sent thee? And he said unto him, O my Lord, wherewith shall I save Israel? Behold, my family is poor in Manasseh, and I am the least in my father's house. Yeah, and you'll see as well when you go through Judges and just in general the ones, because I was getting into it, but didn't actually mean to go into it in Jeremiah, how he's basically saying like, I'm young, I'm youthful, they ain't gonna take me seriously. Who the Lord chooses to deal with in the carnal sense, you might think like, damn, like, okay, like how's the Lord really gonna be dealing with him? But that's because you're looking at carnally. And that's kind of what he was just like, yo, but I'm just the least in my father's house. We're poor in Manasseh, we ain't really on no level. How are we gonna pull this off? But the angel says what? And the Lord Jehovah said unto him, surely I will be with thee, and thou shalt smite Midianites as one man. And I skipped down a bit because there's a bit more I wanted to get. But yeah, it's that whole carnal aspect of how you look at things, it can't be applied. But then this is what, so verse 36, and it says, and Gideon said unto the power, if thou wilt save Israel by mine hand, as thou hast said, behold, I will put a fleece of wool in the floor, and if the dew be on the fleece only, and it be dry upon all the earth beside, then shall I know that thou wilt save Israel by my hand, as thou hast said. Yeah. So he's basically looking for, miracle of like what the dew being on the fleece, the fleece being wet with dew, as it would be if if you leave a piece of clothing out in like grass or plant life, and then dew comes in. Everything's gonna be moist, be when it's just on the fleece, but not on the grass or on the earth. It says, and then shall I know thou wilt save Israel by my hand. And it was so, for he rose up early on the morrow, and thrust the fleece together, and wringed the dew out of the fleece, a bowl full of water. And Gideon said unto the power, let not thine anger be hot against me, and I will speak but this once. Let me prove, I pray thee, but this once with the fleece. Let it now be dry upon only the fleece, and upon all the ground let there be dew. And the power did so that night, for it was dry upon the fleece only, and there was dew on the ground. So yeah, you got, but both sides, where it was what? It basically became, plain as hell. And you had to follow through. So Jude 1 and 5, it says, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though you once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterwards destroyed them that believe not. Yeah, the generation taken out in the wilderness. And then what? And says, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, he reserved in everlasting chains under darkness, unto the judgment of the great day. Yeah, so you have those, spirits, basically, these righteous spirits of the Israelites, bound into the chains of darkness. And the way the Lord's got it set up is what? So you're going to have a portion of Israelites that are going to be of the elect. They're basically going to, stand with Yahweh Shai. They're going to hold fast to the truth and endure through. And then you're going to have those are the 2/3 where they're essentially going to be what? Maintain hold fast to wickedness, hold on to Esau, Edom, so-called white man, and his system, and they're basically gonna, hold on to that. But it says what? It says, put you in remembrance, though you once knew this, because why? You walking around on the scene once before, and then what? You fulfilled the same role, you came the same lot. So I read this, Hebrews 1 and 1, it says, the Most High sundry times and in diverse manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets, hath in these last days spoken unto us by his Son, whom he hath appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. Yeah. So dealing with Yahweh Shai, what it says, he's basically spoken to us by his Son these last days, by whom he made the worlds. And, everything was made, what? Through Yahweh Shai, because the first begun. And then, creation was done with Yahweh Shai and angels. But then what does it say? Who being the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person, and upholding all things by the word of his power, when he had by himself purged our sins, sat down on the right hand of the majesty on high, being made so much better than the angels, as if by inheritance obtained a more excellent name than they. Yeah, so it was set up for Yahweh Shai that his role was going to be different, even from before the world was made. He basically had a role to fulfill, and that's something that's essentially been manifested. Because why? The means, that relationship between Israel and the Most High that was broken down. Yahushua was, the mediator, the means by which that was mended. And that means what? For salvation, you got to go through Yahushua. That was a role that was given to him. So it says, for unto which of the angels said he at any time, thou art my son, this day have I begotten thee. And again I will be to him a father, and he shall be to me a son. And again he bringeth in the first begotten into the world, he saith, and let all the angels of the Most High worship him. And of the angels he saith, make of his angels spirits, and his ministers a flame of fire. Yeah, so Yahushua is put above everyone else under Yahweh, because why? That's the honor that was basically reserved for Yahushua, because of the role that he played. And hey, that was something that was also set up from the beginning. Read this, Romans 8 and 18, it says, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of the Most High. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who have subjected the same in hope. Yeah, so as far as why Jake even are in, the state they're in, where they're off, where you're bound, in the chains of darkness, went into earlier is why. Um, uh, Not willingly, but because that's how the Lord had it set up. When, you're gonna have it play out where you're gonna have to fight against the flesh, and then you're gonna have those that are basically gonna, fail that fight and whatnot. And then enduring through is the role of those of the elect. So they can basically be drawn, drawn the third part that can be drawn through the fire. The 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 metal that's essentially, been tried by the fire and hardened, man, and fortified. Uh because verse 21, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of the Most High. Yeah, because there's people where they get asked like, oh, why isn't it just that we're perfect from the start? Why didn't it just, we just had it like in the garden, just kept it like that? But this is how the Lord decided to make it, manifest. Where we'll have it, we have, where we'll have, what's it called? To, go through the full. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3, it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and a man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Yeah. Even the revealing and exposing of Esau, Edom, as who he is, as that key enemy, man. Because why? That's another aspect. All these things are basically being, stirred in a pot for this final judgment, man, where everything is gonna come to a head, and that's how the Lord gets down. Because same thing with Egypt. You go, when you read about Egypt, you go through Exodus. Because was it say with Pharaoh, as far as letting Israel go, so you can go into the wilderness and serve your power. That was something where he time and again had his heart hardened, say he wouldn't let them go, and he held fast, and then that condemned him further and further. Till by the end they were just like, yo, don't you you're still holding on to them, you're still, trying to make something occur. But what? You're still trying to make something happen, you're still trying to make it occur. But just gone blank. No, my mind's fully just gone blank on what I was saying. It was on Esau trying to make it happen. Nah, that train of thought's gone. But yeah, as far as with with what Esau being exposed, with Israel basically having what is spoken of in Hosea, where for a period of time you're gonna be, it says what, lo and me, you're not my people. But then in the land where it said you're not my people, there will it be acknowledged, yo, you're the sons of the living power. So hey, the Lord's got that grand narrative, and it's prophesied how it's gonna come together, and then what? It's all gonna be what? So the shine can go on Yahweh Shai. and his own name and his elect. They're gonna be where the shine's gonna be focused, not just gonna be some random celebrity, or just one particular man. That's or even Christ. That name Christ ain't gonna be getting no glory or honor. It's gonna be about what Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, and his elect, and grand display of power, man, to essentially let just like back in the time of Egypt. Read this. Romans 11:3, it says, Lord, they have killed thy prophets and dig down thine altars, and I am left alone, and they seek my life. But what saith the answer of the Most High unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. So yeah, back in the time of Elijah, when he was what? He was basically thinking he was the last, the last of the prophets. And what? They were looking to just put an end to him. But hey, the Lord always has it where what? There are those in reserve, man. They're there and basically able to what? Come and teach the word, man. Stay, be in the faith, not be compromised, essentially. Because by and large, when we're dealing with Jake now, they're all hella compromised. But hey, it's all in the spirit, because it says what will be a little sanctuary. Even so, then at this present time, also there is a remnant according to the election of grace. Yeah, there's that remnant according to the election of grace. So with that small remnant, that's how the Lord wants to deal with things. That's how it's been set. But yeah, it says 1 Corinthians 14:32, and the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. Yeah, which is why you come back as a prophet, come back in the same stead. Because why? Same for false prophets. But why? It's because that's that role. That's that role that's been set. So it's like I can go to this actually. 1 John 1 so John 1:19, it says, and this is the record of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, who art thou? And he confessed and denied not, but confessed and he confessed and denied not, but confessed, I am not the anointed, not the Mashiach. And they asked him, what then? Art thou Elias? And he saith, I am not. Art thou that prophet? And he saith, no. Yeah. So they asked if it was, the anointed. He said no. Asked if he was Elijah. He said no. Why? Because he didn't know. But he had what? The spirit of Elijah coming back, and that's prophesied in, Malachi. I will come again before, the great and terrible day. It was what? Odabra Bivens essentially coming back in that stead to what? To kick everything off. To kick everything up in gear. To get the ball moving. Because that's how the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahshua gets down. It said what? And then said they unto him, who art thou, that we may give an answer to them that sent us? What sayest thou of thyself? He said, I am a voice of one crying in the wilderness, make straight the way of the Lord, as said the prophet Isaiah. And they which were sent were of the Pharisees. And they asked him and said unto him, why baptizest thou then, if thou be not the anointed, nor Elias, neither that prophet? John answered him, saying, I baptize with water, but there standeth one among you whom ye know not. Yeah. They didn't realize on the time when that anointed was basically going to show up on the scene and fulfill what needed to be fulfilled. So this is what John answered them saying. Why about yeah? John answered them saying, "I baptize with water, but there standeth one among you whom ye know not. He is who coming after me is preferred before me, whose shoes latchet I'm not worthy to unloose. These things were done in Bethabara, beyond Jordan, where John was baptizing. The next day John seeth Yahushua coming unto him, and saith, Behold the Lamb of the Most High, which taketh away the sin of the world." Yeah. So Yahushua has that role to play, and that role's been set. All these things have basically been ordained through His Spirit from beforehand, what to play out in this time. And it says, "This is he of whom I said, After me cometh a man which is preferred before me, for he was before me, and I knew him not, but that he should be manifest to Israel, where therefore am I come baptizing with water." Yeah. So, John the Baptist's role was to prepare the way for Yahushua. And that's how the Lord lay. The Lord has things set out, man. Things have been preordained, things that are set. And hey, that's how these things are going to play out, man. Because we're seeing it manifest now where the prophecies essentially being fulfilled. Because we're a stone's throw from what? All these prophecies being fulfilled, man. That new system being instated. And, life as people think is just going to continue coming screeching to a halt. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Shalom. Shalom.